How is the coronavirus going to impact you in your daily life? Why I believe the coronavirus is not necessarily what people are trying to make it seem at this point. And lastly, why do I think that the coronavirus is just the beginning of many more viruses to come? And I want to talk about the coronavirus from 3 different points and perspectives. I want to talk about it from a medical perspective, a psychological perspective, but also infrastructure and how does it impact our infrastructure, aka the economy, and how we live life. What we know about the coronavirus is that they say it came from an interaction with an animal. They say it was maybe bats. Some people were saying it was people in China that were eating all sorts of animals. There are viruses that are millions of years old that have existed even before humans. Some of them that existed in prehistoric times that are now about to be reintroduced to humans. Why? Is because of climate change. If you think about it, when the earth is heating up and because the degrees go up, the ice caps that are melting, certain animals that are within the earth that have been frozen for many of years, once they thaw out and they begin to melt because of climate change, what begins to happen is those animals that were now frozen underneath the earth, now once they begin to get exposed, they start to decay. Then those germs go into the atmosphere, and some of those old viruses like maybe the Spanish flu, maybe even something like anthrax that was trapped inside of an animal, will now be thawed out and that virus will be reintroduced to us. And what this also means is that if you're a certain human species, that we have to begin to adapt to these viruses, just like other viruses we have in the past. I mean, things like the flu killed a lot of people when it first came out. But once people adapted, now we know how, now our immune system has become stronger and now we can handle it. Many times that's because of our gut bacteria, right? We've developed a certain bacteria in our gut. So this is why it's very important that you study your gut bacteria, and you understand as the climate change, that's going to have an impact on your bacteria in your gut, and why it's very important that you eat certain things so that your body can adjust and have a strong immune system, and you know how to fight inflammation. So when it comes to the coronavirus, there's a lot of information. I want to look at it from 3 perspectives: medical, psychological, and then infrastructure. The term coronavirus is really a general term that just describes, it represents multiple different viruses. So it's not just one thing. There are many different strands, so that means people can be impacted in many different ways. That one of the number 1 things we can begin to focus on is how do we combat inflammation. This is eating certain foods like green foods, alkaline foods, electric foods, whether it be spinach, kale, or sea moss, or black seed oil, things like that can help combat anti-inflammation. Certain probiotics to keep that bacteria strong in our body as well. Whether it be certain yogurts, things like that, but also doing things to keep our immune system strong, whether it be from time to time you taking a cold shower, you exercising, so that way your body is strong. Because medically what we have seen is many of the people that are dying, it's only a small cases. They say only about 2% of people are actually dying from it, and many of these people have other underlying issues. Many times a disease may not even affect your body unless you allow it to, because you have anxiety. And that's a bigger issue, is the psychological aspect. It's because people are now have anxiety, they're fearful, they're afraid, their bodies go through stress, and now even though you didn't even you weren't even in a sick condition, you just made yourself sick. Many of us, remember, you have millions of bacteria that already exist in your body. Many of us have already been exposed to many different viruses, but these viruses are dormant in our body. And because we go into a state of stress or a state of anxiety, it allows us to get sick and break down our immune system simply because of our thoughts, and we allow ourselves to think, oh, do I got corona? Or maybe this person has corona. And so the more paranoid that you become and the stressed out you become, the more susceptible you are for developing all sorts of different illnesses and viruses. And You don't want to be that person. So you got to keep not one, just a positive mind state. You got to use the power of your mind psychologically to know that you are whole, healthy, wealthy, and strong. You got to know how to move around. All right, literally keep yourself strong through not just the power of your mind, but the power of your mind state and your emotions and your physical activity. So don't allow this stuff to break you down. Many people are being overwhelmed by having a mass reaction through what they're seeing on the news. So you got to know how to listen to the news, but not allow the news to become you and influence you in a way where it's breaking you down, causing you to be negative. All right. Now, so psychologically, that is very, very, very important that you don't allow it to break it down. Now, and lastly, I would say when we think about infrastructure, now infrastructure is to me the realest part. And I say that because the infrastructure is going to impact all of us, because it will cause many different economic changes. You're going to see what we're already seeing. Economic shutdown, schools being shut down for 30 days, transportation industries being shut down. We're seeing major events. We're seeing economies being shut down. Places like Italy where there's no movement allowed really almost at all. And you got places like China, which is one of the largest economies in the world, where their import-export is almost being completely frozen. So this has a huge impact on the world in terms of money and circulation, right? Because when money doesn't circulate, then that's a problem, because money's supposed to circulate. Now you start getting deaths, you get blood clots, and we have to keep in mind that we're looking at this impact the economy in multiple ways. We're seeing the Federal Reserve Bank is lowering their interest rates to try to help deal with the lack of spending, lack of transportation, lack of money being circulated. So if the Feds lower those interest rates, now they can only lower it so much. Right now it's at 3%. If we see the interest rate start going at 1% or negative percentage, that means you are officially going into a recession. All right. So we can talk about that in more videos, but we got to keep in mind, if now you're seeing that, now this is a good opportunity if you're a hustler. Because now it's bad opportunity if you're a person just working at a job and you don't have, and you got a lot of expenses, because now your money slows up and your mobility slows up. You're kind of stuck like a duck, Chuck, and you don't want to be that person out of luck. You want to be the hustler that's recognizing the opportunities that exist and knowing how to still be able to work from home and create, whether it be opportunities, create value, whether it be entertainment, whether it be books, whether it be medical solutions. Remember, these medical illnesses may continue to come. So perhaps you could have a vitamin supplement, exercise routine, something to keep people in a positive mind state. There's so many different things you can do in different businesses. People still need haircuts, hairstyles. So there's a lot of opportunity if you're going to be a person that's looking for opportunities and open to adapt and keeping yourself healthy throughout all of these infrastructural changes. But there's definitely financial impacts affecting the real estate industry. We're seeing housing prices changing. We're seeing cryptocurrency prices and things that are changing. And this may be a good opportunity for you to diversify, just to protect yourself. By diversification, you may want to consider looking at a cryptocurrency as an option, because if the value of the dollar is going down and now people are looking to it, they don't want to leave their house, maybe you want to use a cryptocurrency instead of exchanging dollars. Maybe some people may think that the dollar is and spreading diseases by people touching it. So if you have a cryptocurrency, you may be in a good situation. Or if you have hard assets, meaning you own real estate properties, multi-units, you still have rents coming in, which could be a really, really good thing because people are still going to want to rent. If people still need somewhere to stay. It may not be a good thing if you are just trying to buy a new home for you to live in and you're buying it at a very high price, and then those prices go down, and if your money stops, and now you're basically stuck with the bag. So you don't want to be that person either. So this is a great time to be strategic, but you have to be also bold and willing to adapt, because things are constantly changing. Now, some people would ask the question, is this coronavirus Is it some sort of conspiracy or plot to bring the economy down? Perhaps. I don't know. I don't even want to speculate on that. What we do know is that it exists. We know that it's highly contagious. And what we also know is that viruses like this seem like they're going to just continue to come. Because like I said before, when we have the climate that is changing and you have the heat rising, you're going to have ice melting, you're going to have diseases and viruses that existed millions of years ago in animals that were frozen. Those animals will begin to thaw out, and we will see some of those viruses be reintroduced into the human population. And so this means there's going to be a lot of opportunity in the medical industry to help people, but also in the psychological industry to help people deal with anxiety as well. So you as a hustler, this is your opportunity to help serve the world and also to keep your spirit strong so that you don't get caught up in the pandemic or just stuck out there. So use this as an opportunity to grow both mentally, physically, spiritually, socially, and emotionally, and don't allow this to break you down. So I just want to share a couple ideas about that regarding the coronavirus. I can go a little bit deeper if you want me to, but I want to know, what do you think about it in general? So leave the comment section, hit me up, subscribe to the page, give me a thumbs up for this video so more people can find it and we can grow this channel. I really appreciate you. I need your help and support. Make sure you get the book series, get the music, Hustle God, and also the donate button is down there as well. We can always use help and support so we can continue to do this work to help you. And these things I am thankful for. I'm thankful for you, and I look forward to seeing you in the future. Peace. Pay yourself first and go flip it. Peace. 24 hours in a day. 24 ways to get paid. You got 24 hours. You got 24 hours. You ain't about your money, then get away from around me. So I'm about to give you more so you can overdose. I'm about to give you more so you can overdose. I'm about to give you more so you can turn my music. Turn my music. I'm about to give you more so you can overdose. I'm about to give you more so you can overdose. I'm about to give you more so you can overdose. Don't have me waiting, cause I am